I wanted to know if you looked into what might be the ultimate question, and that is, how do incentives, if they do at all, influence the location decision? It's kind of tea leaves and crystal ball a little bit, but were you able to look into that? Is it just anecdotal? How do you address that issue? Because that seems to be the linchpin of the whole argument.
That certainly is important, and you're right, it's important too, because when places count jobs as jobs created, they're assuming all of those jobs, for the most part, most places assume all of those jobs would not have been created without the incentives. And I'll tell you, I mean, one example, I didn't have room to put in the story, but I talked with the head of the Facebook office in Austin, and she told me they got incentives from Texas, and she told me they were coming for the talent, they were coming for the workers, and they would have come without the incentives. And you know, I asked, for instance, Governor Perry of Texas about, you know, what did he think that some of those companies would come without him? And he said, well, I don't have a crystal ball. So what I would say is I didn't spend the bulk of my research on that because there is a degree to which in individual cases you can't know. But I also didn't because there already, as you know, are a ton of surveys out there about what drives location decisions. I mean, there's a lot of different groups that do lots of surveys on that. And as you also probably know, most of those don't find that incentives are number one. I mean, it's education, it's workers, it's infrastructure, just geographic location is necessary sometimes. So I thought that was a sort of answered question from those, and I alluded in my stories to the fact that there are a lot of other reasons companies move. Where I did delve into it a little bit in a data-driven way is what I alluded to earlier in terms of whether they're looking abroad or not. So in some of my company deal data, it did have where they were considering, and for the most part, they were considering only locations in the United States. You know, so again, incentives seem to come, and as you all probably know from your experience, they seem to come much later in the process. That's what I heard in, you know, over 100 interviews.
Thanks.